Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. We've made it to the end of the week, and this is your final English session for our poetry unit. Okay, so you can see from the Can I today, we're going to be upscaling and performing our writing. So I guess actually our work today comes in sort of three sections. We've got a little bit of editing time, a little bit of time for you to continue writing if you didn't finish yesterday. As like I said, we didn't have that much time within the lesson yesterday. And then finally, a little bit of performance time. Okay, so before we begin, can I just say, I've been amazed. I've had a look at some of your plans, some of your edits. You have gone above and beyond my expectations. So well done. Thank you. I mean, I knew you were a creative bunch, but you have yet again proved to me that you can still surprise me. So well done. To start with today then, you had quite a lot of editing time at the start of yesterday's lesson, and I know you would have edited your plan. Now I want you to have a look at what you wrote up as your final draft. I want you to take a little look at that for me. Okay, so a few things that we can do to kind of upscale our work. Now, the bit that you're going to do before you carry on writing is you're going to have a look again for those SPGs, because it may well be that either you didn't spot them in your plan and now they're in your final draft, or it might be that you spotted them in your plan, but where you were so into writing up your final draft, you may have missed them. So I've put their editing window. Now, obviously, 5E, certainly, this is something we use quite regularly in class when we're doing our editing with a pair. And remember, all it is literally a piece of paper with a strip cut out. So I've put here, it's not very clear and it's really rough, but it's just to show you can make one at home. Literally all you need is a piece of paper or card or whatever. You literally cut out a strip that's about the same size as one line at a time, cut it out, then you'll be able to see through it. And yeah, it basically, the reason we do that is so that we can kind of look at, just focus on one line at a time, because we're more likely to spot mistakes if we do. Now, if you haven't got resources to do that, you can literally do anything, put a ruler under it, a piece of paper, and just go down a line at a time to see if you can spot them. Okay, so that's kind of step one, editing what you've written so far. Then, before you move on to 2, 3, and 4, what I'd like you to do is finish off writing your final draft. Remember yesterday we spoke about the fact that we want you to remember to start a new line where you need to, include capitals at the beginning of a new line, commas, full stops, and if you're moving on to a new verse, it's really important that you leave that line in between. Okay, remember, we need to be able to see clearly those verses and that structure. So if you want to finish off writing, you can pause me here, and then I'm going to talk about the final little editing bits, and then moving on to performance. Okay. Right. Hopefully you've finished writing. Your wrists aren't hurting too much. Give them a little workout if they've been doing loads. And then I just want to just finish off this final kind of editing part. Now, this isn't essential, but again, remember, when we write, we know that, you know, that first draft, second draft, we're never really truly finished, are we? We spoke about the fact that the first chapter of Harry Potter, I think just that very first chapter was written again and again, at least sort of 15, 20 times. I'm not suggesting you rewrite yours 15, 20 times, but we know there's always space for improvement. So if we look again, if you have been using the success criteria, which is on the website still, then tally it off. Sorry, I've had a little pop up there about antivirus. Very exciting. Yeah, so if you've been using the success criteria, then tally it off on the finished version. Hopefully you'll see an improvement from your planning side to the finished version, and have a look and see. If you can see you've only got one tick next to metaphor, then perhaps that shows you that that is where you need to add some more metaphor in, and you can go in and have a look at that now. Okay, again, sorry, another way of doing it is if you go back and you look and you underline the skills, a bit like we did in Alfred Noy's poem. If you go through and underline, I don't know, your metaphor in one colour, your repetition in another, again, you should be able to see straight away if there's something that seems to be missing from your writing. If there is something missing, or you read through and you think it can be improved, there's two options here. So number 3, you've got, again, just upscaling the vocabulary. Use thesauruses. There's loads of online thesauruses out there, guys. Literally, there's something called thesaurus.com. But also Writer's Toolkit. Again, if there's something you think, oh, I normally use that in the class and I haven't got it here and it would be really useful, drop me an email. I will find it and I'll send you a digital copy of it. Okay. And then the final thing, again, we've spoken a lot about redrafting. So rather than just, changing or improving words, that's taken a whole chunk and rewriting it to be even better. Perhaps, like I said, to include more of those skills. So you could choose maybe you could just choose 2 lines. Maybe everyone could have a go at choosing 2 lines and making those even better. Or maybe if you're feeling ambitious, you could choose a whole verse to redraft. Maybe identify what you think is your weakest. Doesn't mean it's bad, but just out of all 6 of them or 4 of them, your weakest one, and then have a go at redrafting it. Okay, so if you want to pause me here, spend as much time as you want to have a go at editing that, and then when you're ready, I will tell you about what we're going to do in performance time. Okay, so like I said, I think one of the really powerful things with any work actually is that opportunity to read it out loud. But I think poetry itself lends itself really nicely to reading aloud. Now, this kind of English session also covers your guided reading for today, because when it comes to performance, you've got 2 options. You can either perform your own poem or you can perform the original Alfred Noyes, The Highwayman. Okay, now you can see on my screen, I've got a little link here. Now, if I click that, sharing my screen won't work in the way that I would like it to, but I've put the link online onto today's learning. You should see under English, it will say Friday, the visitor clip. Okay. What I want you to do, you're going to click that, watch. It's a video. It's only about 2 minutes long and it shows somebody reading out loud a poem, or should I say performing it. What I want you to do is watch it. So pause me here, go and watch that poem. Come back and we'll have a chat about what made it kind of more powerful than just reading off a page. All right, so pause me and then come back. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed that. It's a bit of a spooky one, not too scary, I hope. And essentially, the things that I picked up on that I think made that quite different were I thought that the narrator, their use of pause as they were going, it kept me interested. They'd pause and then you'd be waiting for them to continue. So we had I'm going to add these to our performance checklist as we go. So pausing for effect. I then thought his tone. Okay, now his was quite a serious, kind of dark poem. And you could tell that by his tone in the way he was talking, couldn't you? So the tone of your voice can be really powerful. And again, if you're talking about a Greek soldier, which I know some of you are, then that's going to be quite a powerful poem. And I want to hear that in your voices, okay? The next one is kind of intonational emphasis. So he was emphasizing, putting more power into certain words that he wanted you to pick up on. So the ring, when he was talking about the ring, you heard that quite it stood out compared to the rest of it. So think about, again, which words in yours, which words in yours you want to stand out to the reader, okay? The next thing, again, obviously it was slightly different because there were 3 people involved in that video. But it was a dramatic performance, a little like we did on Monday with The Highwayman. So it was a dramatic performance. It was almost told as if it was a story or a play, you really kind of got brought into it. How can you do that? Either going solo, or is there anyone you can rope in to be in a character in yours? I don't know, if you've got an Athena in yours, perhaps you could get someone to play Athena. The last thing I noticed was the volume. Again, you know that my volume has often tended to be quite high, but the narrator, again, as they were reading aloud, their volume went up and down, and particularly those moments towards the end, their volume started to decrease. But again, that actually kept me as a reader, as a listener, more interested. So thinking out where you can make your voice go up and down there. All right, so I've made a little performance checklist there. You may well have some other things that you would add to it. Things like eye contact and stuff like that. What I'd like you to do as your final task linked to The Highwayman, and like I said, this can be your guided reading as well, is I would like you ideally to film Again, you can maybe do this solo or ask an adult to help, to film yourself reading out either your poem or the original, thinking about how you can perform it to the best of your ability, okay? If you would like to film it and send it through either to me, Miss Rutherford, both, we would love to see them, okay? So have fun with it, enjoy. Doesn't have to, I'll let you into a little secret. These videos aren't always on my first. I think this is my second or third take of this video. So don't worry if it goes wrong at first. That's okay. Or if you make a little mistake, just power on through. I make mistakes on the daily. Okay. But have a go, performing, recording, send it through if you'd like to. We'd love to see it. Okay. Well done for all your hard work on your English this week, guys. I've been massively impressed and I look forward to starting our new unit with you next week. All right. Take it easy, guys. Bye.